Wanted to do a quick video on maintaining your healthy habits while you're traveling or eating out. Why? Because I just got back from an amazing vacation in Italy, and I find that we always often try to separate our health from fun, and those things should be intertwined. Like the key to long-lasting health and wellness is actually that it be intertwined and interwoven in every step of your life. So I know in the past I fell into this trap. Oh, I'm on vacation. I'm just going to let everything go and then just, start over again when I get home. But, number one, as you get older, you get less resilient. So when you behaving that way on vacation, just indulging in everything and kind of letting everything go, not following some simple principles, then you end up not feeling great, and maybe you're not enjoying your vacation as much. Maybe you have some GI discomfort. And not only that, if you have health problems, then those can be exacerbated during that time, no matter how short or how long it is. So it is important to have some basic principles. And my whole thought as a wellness coach, as a plant-based physician, is to make it easy and fun and enjoyable. And that includes going out to eat and going on vacation as well. So what are my tips? So number one is have some basic principles. So I often talk about the balanced plate. So where you're including whole grains, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds, an abundance of fruits and vegetables. And if you keep those principles steady, so one of the things, the first thing I do usually when I go away, whether I'm going to a hotel or lately Airbnbs, is I try to find a local grocery store and I stock up on some fruits and vegetables, water if it's not drinkable where I am, and some snacks that I know that I enjoy, like hummus is a standard that I usually have available, and maybe some whole grain crackers. And that way I know that I have a good place to start. Sometimes I get breakfast food, but I know sometimes you like to eat out. So some of the breakfast foods I get, maybe like an oatmeal or yogurt or something like that. But really the fruit is key, because sometimes for me, it's important to start the day with fruit. I love starting the day with whole unprocessed foods. The fiber in fruit keeps things going. It's good for your gut health. So it's always a good thing to have around. Maybe some nuts as a good quick snack to carry along with you. And having those easy snacks are good. So maybe a healthy bar. When I look at bars, I look for low in sugar. I look for whole grain ingredients like whole oats, nuts, seeds, things like that, sweetened with dates or some other natural sweetener. So that's an important thing. So first thing, looking for stocking up so that you have those basics close by when you start your day, and you start your day on the right foot. And then I like to, when I'm going out to eat or when I'm going somewhere, maybe even before I get there, I like to look at what is available. So me, obviously being plant-based, it's more important to try and make sure that there are some plant-based options. So I like to seek out, because I love trying new restaurants. So I look for restaurants that have plant-based options or plant-based options, restaurants in general. But for you, if you're not plant-based, still looking for restaurants where they have a variety of fresh ingredients. So looking for those, lots of vegetables on the menu, beans on the menu, and things like that, so that when you are choosing your meals, you know that you have those options available. So scoping out the restaurants and things that you may go to beforehand. That's the second tip. So what about when you go somewhere? So maybe you don't have the option of choosing, but what you can do is when you get to that restaurant, you can again look and see what kind of salads do they have? What are the vegetable sides? And that was one of the best things about Italy, is they have the courses, right? So they have the antipasto, which they usually have with tomato and mozzarella, which I may not have the mozzarella, but the fresh tomatoes are great with basil and a little balsamic. Then they would have the pasta dish, and I would look down to see if there were different pastas that had fresh vegetables with them. And then the main dish, which was mainly meat. But the other thing is they would have greens or sides, vegetables. I can't remember the word, it was verdú. So I would look and I could put together a meal with the different sides that are there. And the other option is to always ask, because many places, some places have limited menus and you just go with what they have, but sometimes they do have an idea of what a plant-based or what another option could be for somebody, so that you are able to get those vegetables. So just going back to that whole plate, and that's really an important concept to keep in mind when you're eating out. So Italy has a lot of meat options, but you want to keep that balance in mind. You want to make sure that you're still having a good amount of fruits and vegetables. So if you're going to have the meat antipasti or the cheese, you want to make sure that you're balancing it with some fruits and vegetables and a good amount of fruits and vegetables. So maybe you're having a salad, maybe you're ordering some sides with fruits and vegetables in them. So then you're getting that balance, which are really good for your gut health. They're good for your digestion. They're good for your brain health. They're good for your health overall, right? So you want to make sure that you're keeping that balance in mind, where you're having half of what you consume is non-starchy fruits and vegetables. Another quarter is whole grains or starchy vegetables, and then beans and legumes and nuts and seeds. So beans were a little bit not as readily available where we were in Italy, but that does tend to be a staple. So they have a lot of white beans and lentils and white beans, lentils, and kidney beans. I think they have, oh, fava beans. So looking for those kind of dishes to balance it out, and just looking at it as it's not all or nothing, right? So maybe you have a meal that is heavily meat, but you want to make sure that during the other meals that you have and the other snacks that you have, that you're considering looking for those other options, because you will feel better in the long run. And again, it's just a way of thinking so that for your long-term health and wellness and longevity, that you have changed how you look at food. And the other thing I would mention is several of the people I traveled with talked about carb heavy. When I look at food, I look at the whole unprocessed foods. And so I don't look at the component, the macro component. I look at the types of foods. So I think if you are focusing on the types of foods that you want to include in your meals, in your day, then it'll be easier to make those choices, as opposed to looking at proteins and carbohydrates and fats. You want to look at the whole foods so that you're consuming fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds, and you make sure you're including all of those different food components in what you eat every day. And then you don't really have to worry about the macros. So I hope that was helpful. Hydrating with water is another one. Making sure, in Italy, the espresso and wine flowed very freely, but the water not so much. So remembering to hydrate yourself over the course of the time that you're traveling is really important too, just to keep your body functioning well. Hope this was helpful. I'm going to do more on the whole plate method and other tips about eating out in more detail. If this was helpful, please share, please like, please comment. Thanks for watching.